Chapter 6. Bleeding. They're for females, he said. They're very sweet. Keep them for yourself. Don't waste them on me. Lin Nuannuan was a little angry. What do you mean, waste? You're my family. In my heart, you're the most important. No amount of crunchy fruit is as important as you. Bai Di froze. He looked into the face of his little female. Her fair face looked warm and alive in the firelight. A warm current flowed into his heart. Lin Nuannuan felt a little embarrassed by his gaze. Why are you looking at me like that? He whispered. I've never seen a female so gentle. Although females were rare, they were not completely non-existent. He had seen several females before, and without exception, they were all spoiled and willful. Those females never cared about the lives of others. They only cared about their own happiness. Their almost cruel innocence made Bai Di avoid them like the plague. But the little female in front of him was different. She was gentle. Unable to resist, he leaned over and nuzzled her with his big furry head. I'm so lucky to have met you in this life. Lin Nuannuan was feeling ticklish. She laughed in spite of herself. Don't move. I have to dress your wounds. She used a bone knife to cut the hide into strips, and she then wrapped them carefully around Bai Di's wounds. Lin Nuannuan asked slowly, does it still hurt? He carefully felt around. It feels better now. Lin Nuannuan smiled in relief. That's good. She dug out the needles and thread they had bought at the market earlier in the day, and she started making shoes. After struggling for a long time, she still did not succeed. Instead, her fingers were pricked by the bone needles several times, and blood droplets appeared. Bai Di's heart ached. He immediately shifted back into human form. He then took the needle, thread, and animal hide. It's better if I do it. Lin Nuannuan was very hesitant. Your hands are still injured. They're all just minor injuries. They won't stop me doing needlework. He quickly cut the animal skin and threaded the needle. Soon, he had made a pair of exquisite and cute leather boots. In order to make it comfortable, he specially padded the boots with 2 layers of animal hide. He attached strips of hide to them so that they could be laced up. They could be worn either loose or tight. Furthermore, they were easy to wear and take off. Try them on, Bai Di said. Lin Nuannuan immediately wore them on her feet and bounced back and forth. She asked excitedly, do they look good? He nodded, feeling pleased. They're very nice. You won't have to worry about getting your feet cut by pebbles anymore. Lin Nuannuan asked slowly, do you want to make a pair of shoes for yourself too? No, thanks. My skin is thick. I don't have to worry about getting cut when I walk on the ground. Besides, I often need to transform. If I wear shoes, it'll be inconvenient when I change into my beast form. Lin Nuannuan imagined a big tiger wearing leather boots and couldn't help but chuckle. All right. I forgot to think about that. After watching him make the shoes, Lin Nuannuan was a little tired. She leaned against Bai Di's belly, while Bai Di tucked his tail around her. Warmth enveloped her and lulled her into sleep. Bai Di rested his head on his front paws and focused on the sleeping female, his blue eyes looking gentle. As Lin Nuannuan slowly fell asleep, she suddenly felt a warm current flowing out from under her. This was all too familiar. She opened her eyes and carefully felt around again. She suddenly had a bad feeling. Could it be that? Lin Nuannuan immediately pushed the tiger's tail away and reached out to touch her butt. It was covered in blood. Damn. It was really her period, but there were no sanitary napkins in this world. What could she do about her period then? Do I have to put a layer of hide or leaves under there? Bai Di smelled blood in the air. He opened his eyes and followed the smell. He saw the blood on Lin Nuannuan's palm, and his expression changed. You're hurt. Lin Nuannuan's face was red as she tried to explain herself with a trembling voice. I'm not injured. You're hurt. You're bleeding. He shifted quickly into human form. He picked her up and found that her dress was stained with blood as well. There was so much blood. His little female must have been seriously injured. Bai Di ripped the hide dress off her body, only to realize that the blood was coming from between her legs. Ignoring Lin Nuannuan's struggle and resistance, he forced her legs open and examined the bleeding wound. Lin Nuannuan was so embarrassed and angry that she wanted to die. Let go of me. I'm really not injured. This bleeding is normal. Just let me lie down quietly for a few days. However, he refused to believe her. He stubbornly believed his little female was badly hurt. His face was white with anxiety, his blue eyes full of fear. When Bai Di was still young, his brother died due to the severity of his wounds. He saw his brother lying in a pool of blood as his body stiffened up bit by bit. The grief of losing a loved one had almost broken him. Now, his mate was wounded too. She was bleeding so badly. Would she die like his brother? He couldn't bear to think about it. He wrapped the hide around Lin Nuannuan's body and picked her up carefully. Don't be afraid. I'll take you to the witch doctor. I'll save you. I won't let you die. Lin Nuannuan was very embarrassed. She was just on her period. Why would Bai Di think she was dying? She had never heard of anyone dying because of their period. The witch doctor, Lang Zhu, was treating the wounds of a young wolf beast. This wolf beast was tall and slender. His short silver hair and dark green eyes made him look very unruly, and his sculptured face emitted a sharp aura. Even though there was a long wound on his chest, it still could not hide his domineering aura. He was like a sharp blade that had been laced with poison. As the witch doctor helped him apply the medicine, he muttered, "Xuangyuan, how many times have you gotten injured recently? I remember this is the 10th time, right? You've almost used up all the herbs here." Xuangyuan was expressionless. "I'll help you gather more herbs." Lang Zhu glared at him. "You know it's not the herbs I care about. I want you to find a female as soon as possible and stop spending your overactive energy on hunting." He frowned slightly, clearly annoyed. "I hate females." Never mind finding a female to be his mate. He couldn't help but loathe the sight of a female. Those arrogant and selfish females could do nothing else but give birth. They were weak and incompetent, but also greedy and lazy. Every day, as long as they lay in bed with their legs spread, they could get everything they wanted. Even worse, they never knew how to cherish their privilege. Instead of becoming a female's vassal and slave, Xuangyuan would rather be single for the rest of his life. Lang Zhu tried his best to persuade him. "I know you hate females because of your father's death, but you can't generalize everything. Not all females are as heartless as your mother." "Enough. I don't want to hear the word female again." Xuangyuan rose abruptly with a baleful look on his face. "I feel sick just thinking about them." With that, he stormed off. "Brat, your wounds haven't been bandaged yet. Come back." Lang Zhu was about to chase after him when Bai Di rushed in with Lin Nuannuan. "Witch doctor, save my mate. She's hurt." Chapter 7. Extremely abominable. Lang Zhu smelled blood and saw Lin Nuannuan's pale face. He immediately said, "Quick, put her on the bed." Bai Di lowered Lin Nuannuan and gently placed her on the bed. Lang Zhu asked, "Where's the wound?" Bai Di was about to rip off the hide dress on Lin Nuannuan's body when Lin Nuannuan grabbed the dress tightly and dodged Bai Di's hand. She blushed. "I'm really not hurt, but you've lost a lot of blood," he said as he coaxed her gently. "If you don't stop the bleeding in time, you'll die. Please. Can you let the witch doctor take a look at your wound? It's only one look." How could she let them look down there? She could not allow even a glance. Lin Nuannuan didn't know why Bai Di refused to believe her. She could only pin her hopes on the old witch doctor. Blushing, she explained, "That's how my body works. I bleed a few days a month, but it doesn't affect my health. After a few days, the bleeding stops automatically." After 20 years of living, this was the first time she'd explained a period to anyone, and she was talking about it to two men. How embarrassing was that? Lang Zhu looked surprised. Does such a magical thing really happen? Are all the females in your race like this? Or are you the only female like this? Everyone is like this. Lang Zhu couldn't resist asking, "Can you tell me what race you are?" Lin Nuannuan was silent for a long time before squeezing out, "I'm human." At this point, she really did not know how to muddle through this anymore. She might as well tell the truth. "A human? I've only heard of apes, never a human." Lin Nuannuan thought for a moment. To be honest, humans and apes are from the same genus. They were all primates. It shouldn't be too much to acknowledge them as her distant relatives. Lang Zhu did not pursue the matter. He took out a bag of red fruits and placed it in Lin Nuannuan's hand. "These are red berries and they replenish blood. Help yourself to them." Lin Nuannuan smiled sweetly and said, "Thank you." Although her body was tightly wrapped in animal hide, her entire face was exposed. A smile appeared on her fair face, and a pair of dimples appeared at the corners of her mouth. Her clear and bright eyes seemed so serene and gentle, as though they were filled with water from Fairy Lake. She was extremely beautiful. Surprise flashed in Lang Zhu's eyes. Such a beautiful female was really rare. What was even rarer was that she also seemed to have a good personality. She didn't have the arrogance and willfulness of other females. A bold thought suddenly occurred to Lang Zhu. Why not introduce Xuangyuan to her? The more he thought about it, the more he felt that this would work. However, he pretended to be nonchalant as he said to Lin Nuannuan, "Although you said that you're not injured, you still have to stay here so that we can ensure your safety. I'll come and take a look at your health tomorrow morning." Lin Nuannuan couldn't make up her mind. She looked at Bai Di. "What do you think?" Bai Di was unwilling to stay long in the wolf tribe, but Lin Nuannuan's health was more important than anything else. He touched Lin Nuannuan's face. "You can stay here in peace. I'll be with you." Lin Nuannuan ate a red berry. It was sour and sweet. It was delicious. She held one to his lips. "You have some too." He shook his head. "It's for you. You're hurt and need these berries for your health." "I'm not injured. You're the one who's really injured." Lin Nuannuan pointed to the wounds on his arms and looked at him seriously. "You're the one who needs to heal." Unable to dissuade her, Bai Di ate a single red berry and refused to eat any more. Looking at the loving appearance of the two of them, Lang Ju was even more determined to make Lin Nuannuan help persuade Xuangyun. Such a cute female was rare. If Xuangyun missed her, he would definitely regret it for the rest of his life. In order to solve the problem of her blood leaking, Lin Nuannuan tried to make underwear for herself. Unfortunately, her skills were too poor, and the underwear she made could not be worn at all. In the end, it was Bai Di who couldn't stand it any longer and made her a small piece of underwear. The underwear made of animal hide wrapped around her hips, making her bottom look even rounder and perkier. Unable to resist, he reached out and touched it. "It suits you." Lin Nuannuan quickly lowered her dress to cover her underwear and retreated with a red face. Unfortunately, there were no sanitary napkins here, so she had to use a soft, water-absorbing leaf to pad her underwear. Although it was uncomfortable, she could only make do for now. The next morning, Xuangyun had just woken up to see his mother entangled with several males. Intense panting mixed with vulgar words made Xuangyun want to vomit. He did not want to admit that the slutty female with wrinkles on her face was his biological mother. Just the thought of having crawled out of her filthy body made him want to scrape his flesh off of himself and throw it away. Without hesitation, Xuangyun turned to leave. He didn't slow down until the unpleasant moans were far behind him, but he was still in a very bad mood. Xuangyun strolled aimlessly through the tribe. When he came back to his senses, he found himself in front of the old witch doctor's stone house. In the entire tribe, only this place was considered quiet. He pushed open the door, intending to sit in the old witch doctor's house. Unexpectedly, as soon as he walked in, he saw a young female wrapped in an animal skin squatting on the ground. She was searching for something. His expression changed. He strode forward, grabbed the female's wrist, and dragged her to her feet. "How dare you come in here and steal? How dare you?" Lin Nuannuan was shocked by this man who suddenly rushed in. She looked at him, baffled. "My red berries fell into the herbs. I was just looking for them. I wasn't trying to steal anything." The man in front of her was very handsome. His short silver hair made him look arrogant, and his deep eyes became sharp because of his anger. He didn't believe her explanation at all. "Don't try to defend yourself. You're a thief. Females like you think that just because you can have children, you don't have to fear anything. You're despicable." Even a clay figurine would have a temper, and Lin Nuannuan was finally angered. She glared at the man angrily. "I'm not a thief. If you don't let go of me, I'll shout for help." Xuangyun sneered. "Go ahead and shout. I know you're a female. As long as you yell, there'll be countless males rushing over to protect you, but that doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. As the leader of the wolf tribe, I'll never allow anyone to steal from the wolf tribe, even if you're a female." Lin Nuannuan was so angry that her face was red. Bai Di had left the wolf tribe in a hurry last night. She had left her cloth bag in the cave, and so he had went back to get it for her. She doubted he would return anytime soon, so she would have to find a way to save herself. Lin Nuannuan rolled her eyes and suddenly looked behind him. "Witch doctor, what's wrong?" Xuangyun immediately turned to look at the door. At this moment, Lin Nuannuan jumped and knocked into his chin. Xuangyun was knocked back a step. He covered his chin and glared at the female in front of him. "How dare you sneak up on me?" he said angrily. "You despicable female." Chapter 8. Xuangyun. Lin Nuannuan fled quickly. Unfortunately, she was too slow compared to Xuangyun. She'd barely taken 2 steps when he grabbed her hair from behind. "Let's see where else you can run to." Lin Nuannuan's hair was soft and smooth, feeling like seaweed in his hand. It made Xuangyun slightly startled. The females he'd met were lazy. They rarely washed their bodies, and so their hair was always matted and dirty, like a dried-up haystack. But the female in front of him had very clean hair. More than that, she was clean and her fair skin was free of dirt. Xuangyun involuntarily softened a little, but he still said forcefully, "Seeing that this is your first offense, I'll give you a chance to turn over a new leaf. As long as you admit your mistake and apologize to the witch doctor, I'll spare you." Lin Nuannuan's scalp hurt, but she refused to admit defeat. She hadn't stolen anything. Why should she say that she was wrong? "You pest! Let me go!" Seeing that she had refused to admit her mistake, Xuangyun felt a little angry again. "Try cursing again and I'll beat you up." Lin Nuannuan glared at him angrily. "Beat me up then. Beat me to death if you dare." Xuangyun raised his fist, but he couldn't bring himself to hit her pretty face. But he wasn't willing to let her go either. He tried to get a hold of himself, but in the end, he still couldn't bring himself to hit her. He could only spit out the words stiffly, "Apologize now." As long as she admitted her mistake, he would let her go. Lin Nuannuan looked stubborn. "I didn't do anything wrong. Cut the crap and admit your mistake." "I won't admit it. I won't admit it even if you beat me to death." Just as the two of them were at a stalemate, Dr. Lang Ju finally returned. He had just gone to look for Xuangyun and wanted to introduce Lin Nuannuan to him, but unfortunately, he had missed him. By the time he arrived at Xuangyun's house, he had already gone out. Helpless, Lang Ju could only return empty-handed. To his utter surprise, he saw Xuangyun as soon as he returned home. At this moment, Xuangyun was grabbing Lin Nuannuan's hair with one hand and raising his fist with the other. His face was fierce, as though he wanted to beat up the female in front of him. Lang Ju was so shocked by this scene that he almost knelt down. He rushed forward and pulled them apart. The witch doctor glared at him with a pained expression. "What's wrong with you? How can you be so ruthless to such a cute female? Is your heart made of stone?" Xuangyun frowned and said, "This female was stealing things in your house. I'll teach her a lesson for you." "What's there to steal? What do I have that's worthy of being stolen in this lousy house?" Lang Ju was so angry that his beard was quivering. "This female is injured. I told her to stay here and recuperate, but you hit her without distinguishing right from wrong. You're really infuriating me." Xuangyun froze. Isn't she a thief? I thought she was here to steal something. I didn't think." "Get out of here. Get out." Lang Ju waved his cane and shooed him away. "Don't ever show your face in front of me again. It annoys me to see you." Xuangyun stood in the doorway, looking at the door that had been slammed shut in his face. He raised his hand to his nose, looking resentful. He stood at the door for a while longer, but Lang Ju did not have any intention of opening the door. Xuangyun could only leave dejectedly. Lang Ju said to Lin Nuannuan, "Don't lower yourself to Xuangyun's level. That kid has a bad temper. He's impulsive, but he's not a bad person. Moreover, he's very strong. He's the youngest clan leader in the history of our wolf tribe." Lin Nuannuan tied her hair behind her head with a seemingly sturdy blade of grass. She shook her head, her ponytail swaying gently. "It doesn't matter. I'm not angry anymore. I won't see him again anyway." Lang Ju coughed lightly. "Xuangyun was in the wrong this time. I'll get him to apologize to you later. If you're still angry, you can beat him up. You don't have to show mercy. This kid is tough. He'll be fine even if you hit him." Lin Nuannuan was speechless. She was really not angry anymore. She didn't want to punch anyone either. She just wanted to wait for Bai Di so they could get out of here together. Why wasn't Bai Di back yet anyway? Lin Nuannuan looked at the door in a daze. Lang Ju said many things about Xuangyun and tried his best to matchmake these two young beasts. However, Lin Nuannuan was neither cold nor enthusiastic. It seemed that she was really not interested in Xuangyun. Lang Ju cursed in his heart. That brat was too much of a bastard. He even dared to hit a female. Now that he couldn't even find a wife, what was he going to do for the rest of his life? Bai Di finally returned. Lin Nuannuan jumped off the bed excitedly and threw herself into his arms. She smiled happily and said, "You're finally back." He picked her up and carried her to the bed. He handed her the cloth bag. "I got your things." Lin Nuannuan slowly took the cloth bag. "Why did you take so long to come back?" "I went to wash the hides we got yesterday." He set down the hides in front of her. "I know you like to collect hides, so I brought them back for you." Lin Nuannuan was a little embarrassed. "I don't have the hobby of collecting animal hides. You don't have to especially help me collect animal hides in the future." He smiled. but didn't press her on why she had asked him to collect the hides yesterday if that was the case. Since you don't like them anymore, then you can just toss them aside. He tossed the hides aside, then, as if by magic, he produced a bouquet of flowers from behind him. They were red flowers with sparkling dewdrops on the petals. They gave off a faint fragrance. Is this for me? Lin Nuannuan was pleasantly surprised. It's beautiful. He put the bouquet in her hands. I'm glad you like it. Thank you. He was exasperated. I already told you. We're family. We don't need to thank each other. Lin Nuannuan stuck out her tongue at him and smiled mischievously. Xuangyun stood in the doorway. He was looking into the house through the crack in the door. The little female held the flowers and smiled extremely sweetly. He'd thought of her as a wild cat. Despite her beauty, she tended to make threatening gestures. But now, he knew he was wrong. She only bared her fangs and claws to people she found annoying. She was painfully docile when it came to people she liked. Xuangyun felt sour inside. If he'd known she wasn't a thief, he certainly wouldn't have treated her so roughly. Surely she hates me now, right? Xuangyun looked down at the hide pouch in his hand that was filled with red berries. He'd picked them earlier and even washed each one. He wanted to give them to the female as an apology. But now, his heart was pierced by the little female's smile. He dared not appear in front of her again. Xuangyun placed the hide pouch gently in front of the door and knocked. By the time the door was pulled open, there was no one there. There was just a hide pouch on the floor. Bai Di picked up the hide pouch and looked puzzled when he saw the red berries inside. Who delivered this? Chapter 9. Be a bachelor for life. Lin Nuannuan asked curiously. Who is it? I don't know. When I went to open the door, there was nobody there. Bai Di placed the hide pouch in front of her. This was placed on the floor. The person must have left it there. Lin Nuannuan saw that the pouch was filled with red berries and couldn't help but look surprised. There are so many red berries. Would you like some? He asked. Lin Nuannuan shook her head. I'm not eating them. The pouch was placed at the door of the witch doctor's house. It must be for the witch doctor. It's okay if you want some. I'll pick some later and give them back to the witch doctor. No. I haven't even finished those red berries that the witch doctor gave me. We'd better leave these to the witch doctor. It's not polite to take anything from anyone. All right. Bai Di set the hide pouch aside, then reached out to touch Lin Nuannuan's bottom. Why are you still bleeding? He asked with a frown. Lin Nuannuan blushed. It usually takes 5 days to stop the bleeding. Today's only the second day. It's still too early. You're sure you won't die after losing all that blood? His face carried an expression of worry. I won't. I've been living like this all these years. There's no problem at all. Seeing how confident Lin Nuannuan was, Bai Di could only suppress his worry for the time being. It wasn't long before the old witch doctor returned. Lang Zhu asked Lin Nuannuan about her physical condition as usual. After confirming that she was fine, he was slightly relieved. Bai Di handed Lang Zhu the hide pouch filled with red berries. Someone put this on your doorstep. It must be for you. Lang Zhu grabbed 2 red berries at random and examined them. Then he brought them to his nose and took a sniff. A meaningful smile immediately appeared on his wrinkled face. He placed the hide pouch in Lin Nuannuan's hand. This is for you. You can eat the berries inside. Lin Nuannuan was very surprised. Shouldn't this be for you? Trust me. He must have wanted to give it to you. Without waiting for Lin Nuannuan to ask further questions, Lang Zhu walked away while leaning on his walking cane. He found Xuangyun on top of a massive rock. The tall, handsome man was sitting on the edge of the rock with one leg up, and his honey-colored skin glowed in the afterglow of the setting sun. His short silver-white hair swayed gently in the breeze, softening his originally sharp face. Although Lang Zhu was so old that his hair and beard were completely white, he was still very agile. He jumped onto the rock easily and raised his hand to knock Xuangyun on the head. He scolded him jokingly. Brat, you even dare to hit a female. You're really rebellious. Xuangyun sat motionlessly. He glanced at the old witch doctor and snorted. As long as they're bad people, I'll beat them up whether they're females or not. But she didn't do anything bad. You misunderstood her. Xuangyun pursed his lips and fell silent. Go apologize to her and coax her properly. Then this matter will be over. He turned his body away. I'm not submitting to a female. Lang Zhu looked at him with amusement. You obviously like her a lot, but you still pretend to be annoyed. Who did you inherit your awkward personality from? When have I ever liked her? I hate all females. Lang Zhu asked calmly. If you hate her, why did you secretly give her red berries? Xuangyun immediately said. What red berries? I don't know what you're talking about. Still pretending? Those red berries have your scent on them. I could smell it right away. The tips of his ears were slightly red, but he was still firm with his words. I picked them for you when I went hunting in the mountains. They aren't for her. In that case, I'll ask her to return the pouch of red berries when I get back. Seeing that he was about to turn around and leave, Xu Angyun hurriedly stopped him. You're not allowed to go. Lang Zhu beamed at him. Why am I not allowed to go? Xu Angyun's hands were clenched into fists, looking as though he had a lot to say. However, in the end, he could only spit out a dry sentence. I just picked those red berries because it was convenient. But Lang Zhu said, red berries grow in brambles, and all the brambles are poisonous. They itch terribly if you're pricked. Animals never go near that area. Even an underage cub in the tribe wouldn't believe a lie like picking red berries while hunting in the brambles. Xu Angyun looked down at the spot on the back of his hands where the thorns had pierced him. It was already swollen and itchy, but he said nothing. His silver-white hair covered his eyes, and his thin lips were closed. Lang Zhu pulled out a handful of leaves and handed them to him. Chew them and apply them to the wound. It'll stop the itching and the swelling. He silently took the leaves. On Lin Nuannuan's 5th day of her stay in the wolf tribe, her period finally ended. Bai Di was overjoyed. Your wounds are healed. You won't die. Lin Nuannuan had to emphasize to him again. I was never injured, and I won't die. He picked her up and nuzzled her hair tenderly. Since her period was gone, there was no need for Lin Nuannuan to stay in the wolf tribe anymore. Bai Di took her to say goodbye to Lang Zhu. Lang Zhu immediately said, No, you can't leave yet. It wasn't easy for him to make Xu Angyun fall for a female. If he let her go, what would Xu Angyun do? Did he really have to stay single for the rest of his life? He had to find a way to make Lin Nuannuan stay. Why can't we leave? Bai Di asked. Lang Zhu thought for a moment, then remembered something important. He said quickly, Winter is coming. Bai Di frowned. As I recall, winter isn't due for another 2 months or so. It's not even close. In the past, we would indeed have to wait for another 2 months before winter. However, the climate this year has changed. Winter will arrive 2 months earlier. This is the result of my deduction based on the stars. There's definitely no mistake. As a witch doctor, Lang Zhu knew some witchcraft in addition to his medical skills, including predicting the weather. Such predictions were usually not accurate, but he had previously accurately predicted snowstorms and flood disasters. It was also because of this that the wolf tribe had successfully avoided many natural disasters and continued to reproduce until they became such a large tribe. Lang Zhu's words made Bai Di serious. At the same time, the system's voice sounded in Lin Nuannuan's mind again. Triggered large chain quests. Winter is approaching. Host, please be prepared. The system will randomly issue a series of quests from the winter season series. After completing each quest, the host will receive a generous reward. When Lin Nuannuan heard that there were rewards, her heart was filled with anticipation. The last time she completed the novice mission, the system rewarded her with a tinder and a book. Both were very practical items. This mission sounded very impressive, so the rewards would definitely be much more generous than the novice gift bag she had received last time. Chapter 10. Annoying. Once winter arrived in the forest, everything would be covered in snow, animals would hide and hibernate, so the number of prey would plummet. In order to survive the winter safely, the beast people would prepare sufficient food before winter came. But winter was 2 months early this year, which meant that Bai Di did not have enough time to prepare. If he were still single, he could have gritted his teeth and endured till the end of winter. But things were different now. He had a delicate little female with him. He needed a lot of food, as well as a very warm and safe place to live. Only then could he get the little female through winter in peace. Lang Zhu said, Not only will winter come early this year, but it may also be the coldest winter ever. I suggest you stay and wait until after winter to leave. The wolf tribe was located on a rock mountain. This mountain was the highest mountain in a 100-mile radius. Even if winter comes, this place would not be completely covered in snow. Moreover, there were many wolves in the tribe, and so the other small tribes would not dare to attack them. This was indeed a very ideal place to spend the winter. Bai Di hesitated. The old witch doctor's offer was tempting, but there was no such thing as a free lunch. The reason the old witch doctor wanted them to stay was mainly because of the little female. Bai Di didn't want to share the little female, but he couldn't bear to let her starve and freeze with him. He saw that the little female was completely dependent on him. Finally, he gritted his teeth and steeled himself. We'll stay for the winter. Nothing was more important than the safety of the little female. Lang Zhu smiled with satisfaction. I'll bring you around so that you can pick a place to stay. A system notification suddenly popped up in Lin Nuannuan's mind. You've triggered one of the quests. Winter is coming. Host, please prepare a house for winter. The requirement is that the house is no less than 40 square meters. Also, prepare a bed, table, chairs, and cabinets. You need to have an entire set of furniture. The wolf tribe was already prepared for winter. They had dug a wide tunnel in the rock mountain, and dozens of paths had been dug on either side. Hence, there were many caves. Each cave was inhabited by one or more wolves. After Lin Nuannuan entered the tunnel, she felt as though she had walked into a maze. For a moment, she could not differentiate between north, south, east, or west. It was very dark in the cave, but beasts were born with night vision, especially the wolfman. Their eyes could see through the darkness and identify things that were more than 10 meters away. But as a human, Lin Nuannuan did not have this advantage. She clung to Bai Dai's hand, not moving an inch away from him. She was afraid she'd take a wrong turn or run into a rock wall. Lang Zhu said, You can dig anywhere you like. It doesn't matter how much you dig as long as you don't dig into someone else's house. Bai Di had chosen a remote corner. This place was rarely noticed because of the angle, and few people stayed around this spot. It was very quiet, which made it just right for Bai Di. He let Lin Nuannuan sit beside him to rest. Then, he transformed into a big white tiger and moved his paws around to dig holes. His claws were sharp, and the solid rock became as fragile as tofu under them. It took him only a moment to dig a 20-square-foot cave. Lin Nuannuan walked in to take a look, then pointed at the rock wall in front of her. Dig out 2 smaller caves here. Without another word, Bai Di resumed digging. The inside of the rock mountain was all rock, so there was a possibility of huge accidents happening if one didn't pay attention to how they carved out the rock. The place could collapse at any time. After the cave had been dug, Bai Di polished and swept the rock walls and floors so that the little female would not be cut by those sharp stones. The largest cave was used as a master bedroom for Lin Nuannuan, and there was a second bedroom and a small kitchen beside it. Lin Nuannuan initially wanted him to dig a space for a toilet, but there was no drainage system. Even if he dug out the space for a toilet, there was no way to clean the feces. She wouldn't be able to handle the stench. Now, it was time to consider what they should do for the furniture. This world was still in the Stone Age. Most of the things everyone used were made of polished stone. However, Lin Nuannuan felt that the stones were too heavy and inconvenient to use. She decided to cut some wood to make furniture. Lin Nuannuan's eyes lit up. Let's go cut some trees. Bai Di looked at her indulgently. All right. He didn't know what Lin Nuannuan was thinking. He just thought that cutting down trees was how she had fun. Bai Di maintained his white tiger form and carried Lin Nuannuan out of the cave. However, he realized that there was now a cave next door. When they first arrived, no one was staying there. Why did a cave suddenly appear? Just as Lin Nuannuan was feeling puzzled, Xuangyun walked out of the cave. Lin Nuannuan's eyes immediately widened. It's you? Xuangyun crossed his arms over his chest and looked arrogant. So what if it's me? Why are you here? Xuangyun said matter-of-factly. Because I live here. Lin Nuannuan was shocked. Why are you living here? I like living here. Why do you care? Lin Nuannuan glared at him, then said to Bai Di, Let's go. Ignore this creep. Bai Di carried Lin Nuannuan away. Xuangyun frowned irritably as the female disappeared around the corner. When he learned that the female was staying in the mountain, his first reaction was to run to her house and dig a cave next door. But when he calmed down, he felt that his behavior was especially ridiculous. He clearly hated females. Why did he become so eager to be her neighbor? Was it just so that he could look at her every day? This was too stupid. Xuangyun despised himself as he strode after the female. There weren't many things in the forest, but there were definitely many trees. Under Lin Nuannuan's directions, Bai Di cut down several trees in quick succession. He used his claws to remove the bark and cut the trees into thick, uniform planks. He lowered the polished wooden planks to Lin Nuannuan and asked, Will this do? Lin Nuannuan nodded, feeling especially satisfied. Good. Bai Di, you're amazing. Pleased by her praise, He nuzzled the back of her hand. Lin Nuannuan touched his furry ears. Her touch was soothing and he squinted like a big, lazy, elegant cat when he felt the sensation. When Xuangyun, who was hiding nearby, saw this, he could not help but raise his right hand. His originally strong and powerful arm immediately became a wolf's forelimb, and his nails became sharp claws. The trunk beside him was badly scraped, and his heart sank. It was just cutting trees and wood. He could definitely do it better than that tiger. Why didn't the female come to him for help?